All right. Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Social Media Magic Podcast. My name is Brittany Berlinich. I'm a content strategist, social media manager, total marketing nerd, among a million other things, which you guys know. You guys know I'm always doing little experiments on the internet. But I'm especially excited today because a few months back, I did an interview with Natalie Bardot. She's a Pinterest expert. She is in the weeds, in the details of Pinterest all the time. I've also just recently gone through her Pin Popular course, and oh my goodness, it's been so exciting to go through there. It's been really encouraging to me. So I knew I had to bring her back on to talk more about this. One question we're really going to be diving into is, do you even need social media? And if you don't need it or if you don't want it, what can you do instead, right? Or is Pinterest social media? I know we talked about that in the last one too. So welcome to the show, Natalie, or I should say welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I will gladly talk Pinterest all day, every day. It's such a great question. Like, do I need social media? Like, I think back to when I started my first thing on the internet, which was my blog a decade ago. I would just be talking to like random people and they'd be like, oh, you need Instagram. And I'm like, you know nothing about online marketing, yet somehow, even like the wide collective is convinced that if you start anything, you need Instagram. I feel like you're the expert on that to debate whether for sure or for not you need like social media. And yes, I said Instagram because I do think of all the social medias, perhaps Instagram is like the top tier one that you would want for at least like credibility with your audience. But I'm gonna say maybe just having a profile to prove that you're legit. I don't know if you need to stay active because I started that blog 10 years ago. I have my Pinterest marketing business where I have my courses, and I'm about to start a whole nother site. And I'm going to be honest, social media is not on the top of my to-do list because I know that you can do it without it. Maybe if that's your wheelhouse, I think we should play to our strengths. And if it is a strength of yours, like you are a social media person, for me, I only use social media to talk to people I know and keep in touch. Like, I'm not that into playing the game. And to me, it seems like a game. I am more into search engines, a platform that's going to like index my content and continue to show it to people. It's less based on social media algorithms and more based on relevance. I'm going to say no. No. Final answer. I'm done.
Yeah, you don't need social media. But I mean, I say the same thing. We were just talking about before that I would even go as far to say is that I don't think you even need a website really in 2026, right? Because we're just in a different world, different era of digital marketing now. But I am all for if you like social media, it depends on the niche too. Some niches are inherently better for certain platforms. If you have a physical product, which I know that's not this group of people we're talking to, but if you had a physical product, I'd say, well, you might want to consider TikTok because the distribution is there. If you're listening and you have which is more likely, you have a digital product shop like you're on Etsy or TPT, then Instagram is great because there is something that you said about like what people are expecting. And I know we talked about this in the past if you listen to my episodes, but Google is indexing Instagram posts now. So it all helps. But that said, if you're one person, you can't do everything. You have to be really choosy with what you choose to do. And you also have to think about, okay, what is it going to take to be successful on this platform? That is the real question. What are you willing to do? And also, does that feel like a lot of work for you? It does not feel like a lot of work for me. I see it as playing. I'm playing on Instagram, playing on TikTok. I'm growing a TikTok account about McDonald's around the world. That is so fun for me. But as a business owner, I've talked about this too for my freelancer friends. I don't get most of my clients from social media, which is ironic because I have a podcast about social media. I get them from referrals. I get them from like masterminds I'm a part of, from things I've presented at like summits and events like that. So you don't have to have it. It's not a required thing. If you want to have it, then you should love it. I really do think that's the secret is you have to enjoy it because then you will enjoy the learning process. But this is also why I wanted to bring you back because so many people don't. And instead of trying to make yourself love something and just have it be a total slog, what are the other options? So I have a couple of other episodes coming out like this where people can explore what are social media platform alternatives or what are like tactical alternatives to using social media. So I'm really excited to talk about Pinterest. With Pinterest, what is the difference with engagement? I know many people have this thought too of, okay, if I'm going to have social media, then I should engage with other people, which I would say there's definitely truth to that, depending on the platform you're on. So can you talk about maybe some differences? What differentiates Pinterest from typical social media and what makes it a search engine? Actually, that could be a good question to answer as well.
what makes something a search engine? This definition might be a little muddy considering you're saying that Instagram now index, like Google now indexes their posts. But I would say that functionally, it's built on search, as in the vast majority of users are clicking on the search bar, typing in a keyword phrase, and searching for what they're looking for. That search engine is then serving up results based on relevance, based on things like, okay, what is the exact answer for this search query? So every search engine has an understanding. If the person types in, what is Pinterest? On the flip side of it, the search engine has indexed all of the pages or all the pins, if we're talking about Pinterest, and they're listing them in relevance to who is the closest answer to this. It's matching search intent, right? Whereas I think on the flip side for social media, a lot of your reach or like who can discover you is limited to your followers or the off chance that maybe you're found via a hashtag or some type of virality. Whereas I would say on a search engine, it's less about who you are and who follows you and more about how relevant your pin is to that search query. I see the difference, the separation, because yes, we have to create pins, which to anyone who's not used Pinterest can be an image or a video that ideally links to your shop, your site, or your services, or even to your social. Like people are using Pinterest to grow their Instagram. I'd say the divergence is in terms of reach and potential reach. We've seen over the years, particularly with Facebook, which has drastically, like I told you all, I've been doing this for like a decade. I remember when Facebook turned off organic reach. Your post used to be seen by your followers, used to, like even recently inside of your own Facebook group, they're removing your link. It's like the organic reach is dried up and the only way to get found is ads. On Pinterest, that hasn't happened yet. Let's hope it never happens. Also, in terms of like you mentioned engagement, like how you would use Pinterest as a creator or a seller is different in terms of like the things that we do, like social, like what makes social media social is the socializing. At least it should be. And on Pinterest, there's no socializing. You can message people, but it's not what you do on Pinterest. You don't slide into people's DMs. You don't have to say things like click the link in my bio or comment, insert magic word here to get this magical thing. The links are just there. You don't have to bend over backwards or do all this other stuff to like just get the click. I hope that's showing you the two options. And like Brittany said, it really just depends. What are you comfortable with? What type of business do you run?
And I love it doesn't have to be either or either, right? Like you can have Pinterest supplementing other things you do. I wrote that down actually. I really want to hear you talk about using Pinterest to grow your Instagram. I have about 3 segments of people who listen to this show. And actually, as you're listening, go ahead and try to figure out which one you are. I'm kind of interested. And if you would tell me, I would love to know. You can send me a DM on Instagram. I want to hear this. Which one are you? So I have group 1 of people who these would be the people who are most likely to become my clients. They're like, Brittany, I'm at the point where social media actually could really help me. And I may be also thinking about running ads, but I don't want to deal with it. So I'm really listening to you to see if you're the person I'm going to hire. That's possible, right? I've had a few of you come through my podcast. And then the second group is, I actually love social media. I'm curious about how I can use this to get more traffic to my shop, to get more opt-ins. I'm going to leverage the strength I have. So I love how you said play to your strength. So that's group 2. And then I have a third group who they're like, I actually do love social media and I'm not just using social media to even just grow whatever existing thing I have. I actually want to explore other ways to make money from it. So we've talked about how you can monetize these platforms. Facebook's not a big one for me. I think I make like $20 a month from it now, like big spender, right? But YouTube pays me a few hundred a month. So, I mean, there's different ways that you can make money with social media platforms itself. So I have 3 segments. So as we're going through this conversation, I'm thinking of all 3 groups. So we definitely hit so many reasons for that first group of like, oh, thank God, I don't have to use social media. I don't even want to do it. So definitely stay tuned to the end because you're going to love what we talk about at the end. And I want to make sure that you know about something that's coming up pretty soon. But I want to hit that second group and the third group for a minute and talk about how you could actually use Pinterest to grow your social media because you're the first person I've ever heard talk about this. I've never heard anyone, and as I was going through your course, I'm like, Oh, connect your Instagram. Like I just didn't even know you could do that. So could you just talk a little bit about that? You have the how-to in your course, but how does it work? How does Pinterest get people to your social media platforms?
Way back in the day, I'd say before 2022, and there was a huge shift on Pinterest, you were able to actually claim your Instagram account. They took this feature away for about 2 years, and now it's back again. And you can easily just connect your Instagram account to your Pinterest. When you set it up, you have the option to one, automatically post. So anytime you post a reel or a post to your grid, you can set it to auto post to your Pinterest profile. They even allow you to have some exclusion tags. If you just put like a specific phrase in that post, it just will exclude it. And then you can even back post up to 365 days over to Pinterest. Very easy to set up. Just go to your settings. And what's great is that this is just a way for you to automate Pinterest. If you're feeling like, I can't take on another platform, I want another way to expand my reach, literally just setting that connection can lead you to not only more traffic, but to also more sales. On a recent class I hosted, someone in the audience said, I just connected my Instagram to my Pinterest. And she said 44 out of her last 46 sales came from Pinterest. All she did was connect it. And of course, you would want to do some optimizations, ensuring that you're adding Pinterest keywords to your Instagram posts if it's going to trickle down, that you're just like checking all your boxes. But this is a great way because as long as you are using those key phrases in your Instagram posts that are going to show up on Pinterest, people are going to discover you in search. That's how you can easily boost followers, and those Instagram posts can link back to your original IG post, growing your Instagram followers as well. But also, it has started doing this thing where it can also send them to any other domain. So if you have a website or you have a shop, you can also like send them there too. So it's really just like a very passive way. You spend a couple minutes setting it up, and it's like you're just turning on another tap that is like a potential way for you to boost everything. It's just a win-win. Like I'm so happy that people are able to like add on this connection, especially if Instagram is their jam. Why not expand the lifespan of our posts? Because to me, that's my biggest problem with social media is that, for most of these platforms, they live for 15 minutes, maybe 24 hours, maybe 2 days, and then it's gone. It's just like a flash in the pan. But what's beautiful about Pinterest is that your pin, and including those ones that you pull over from Instagram, can live for up to 2 years. And I've seen it, right? So why not expand the lifespan of your hard work? That's what we want to do for everything. I'm sure, Brittany, you teach about repurposing, reposting on multiple platforms. I think the easiest one to repurpose to is by far Pinterest, if you have Instagram.
Yeah, I actually tested this yesterday. I was just curious to see if I uploaded a video. So I have these for my McDonald's account because I didn't have Pinterest. I was like, oh, I can basically do the case study of your course and go through it. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I uploaded a few videos that I had uploaded to TikTok, to YouTube. It's the same video, the same exact video, right? To all those platforms. Now, I didn't do the repurpose from Instagram thing because I wanted to be a little choosier about like, okay, I want to choose the link I send to, but I really, really like that because I did some competitor research and saw that people who were doing that, I mean, first of all, I think I just landed on a good niche because all the competitors were doing like AI slop. So I was like, all right, I'm going to win just based on quality. But I mean, the fact that you can just add a link is so huge. I don't think you can really understate that because Instagram, yes, you have the chat funnels. You can set that up and you definitely should. But Pinterest just makes it so much easier. So I do got to say, like, Pinterest has got Instagram beat there. As far as the longevity, absolutely. I find it really interesting that I go on there as a user and I see posts from like 10 years ago, especially if you have evergreen products that always sell. Your best sellers, I would for sure put those on Pinterest, if nothing else. One of the things about social media is you do have to feed the beast. For Pinterest, is it the same? Can I go hard for a year, set it and forget it? Do I need to kind of tend and nurture it? Could you explain a little bit about that?
I would say there have been like ebbs and flows on the platform where you can take breaks. I literally went traveling for 2 years and like completely forgot about Pinterest and somehow did the best ever. And it was fine. But I had built up 5 years of consistency, right? The downside of that now, because as I said, pins peak after 2 years. So during that 2 years, I basically didn't publish any new content. So with the most recent algorithm update, my account kind of fell off a cliff, but it's just because my 2 years off finally caught up with me, right? All my pins had passed their peak. Not to say that I'm not still getting traffic. I am still getting traffic. I lost about like 20% of my reach in the most recent update, but it's entirely my fault because, as I said, I did not create any content for 2 years. So what's wonderful is that, yes, either way, we have to post. If we're posting on social or we're posting on Pinterest, we have to post. I would just say that from my perspective, Pinterest is a little bit more forgiving, or maybe a lot of it more forgiving, especially if you've built up a reputation and you can easily schedule pins out. I'd say like another big difference between social media and Pinterest is that Pinterest is not about the here and now. It's more about the forever. Let me give you an example. So say you're hosting an event, right? Or you have a live workshop or you have a flash sale. The place for that is not Pinterest. The place for that is your email list and Instagram. Because the posts have such a short lifespan, it's more the place for announcements. It's the place for things that are happening right now. Whereas Pinterest is the place for something that's going to be around for a while, whether that's your content, your blog posts, your YouTube videos, your podcast episodes, and those products that are going to be on sale evergreen. I think that's also the difference in perspective. Because of that longevity, that's why you will consistently get clicks for years to come. Yes, either way, you got to post on either platform. You do need to build up a little bit of a reputation that, yes, this is what my niche is. This is who my audience is. And you want to stay consistent to that. But with scheduling, I find it's like fairly easy to stay consistent, even if you're just doing 1 or 2 posts a day, because you want to build up the amount of pins that can be found in search. But it is more forgiving if you take time off. Stay committed, right? It doesn't matter which strategy or which platform you choose. The consistency is king. It's really and truly what's going to let you win in the long-term game of online business that we're all playing here. So yeah, I'd say it's more forgiving. I've seen that forgiveness. And just like you said, you discovered a pin from 10 years ago. I have noticed though, however, in the last year or so, the Pinterest algorithm is giving more space to timely content. Say, for example, if you search grade 2 printables, like I'm trying to talk to your TPT people here, travel ideas for Greece, you may notice more frequently than not, you'll see seasonal pins ranking up there at the top. Say it's spring, you may see a things to do in Greece in spring, or you may see like spring themed printables for elementary. And I've noticed that more and more where we never used to see that. Those types of pins would have only shown up for seasonal keywords. But now I am seeing that the platform is trying to veer a little bit more closer to that relevancy, like that urgency or that timely content that we would usually find on social. Once again, that's still evergreen content. It's just seasonal evergreen content. It is always to your benefit to have a seasonal variation to that product. So you don't need to go create a whole new product. Just reskin it or just duplicate it and have a spring version of it so that you can also get those seasonal bumps.
Yes, I love that. We call that in the TPT world a product line. If you have a puzzle that's evergreen, maybe you have a fall one, maybe you have a winter one, spring, summer, or maybe you have one for every holiday. I think that's a really practical thing. And that's a way to increase your sales because now you just have more inventory. So of course you can make more products. That's great. But I think even just repackaging something existing because of the way you position it, I think that's great. And by the way, the internet is always looking for that. Like I actually wrote down here, another thing that Pinterest is great at, if you are going to have social media as well, but even if you don't, the more places where you are showing up, and I know that realistically we can't be on all of them at the same time, right? It's too much. But if you can be on more places where you're saying the same thing everywhere, that sends signals to ChatGPT because people are searching there for products and services now. Same with Google Gemini, same with Perplexity, with Claude, all of these different LLMs and tools. The more places you can show up, the better. It shows that you have some kind of legitimacy when you can be as everywhere as possible. That'll always help you thinking about seasonal product lines because let's say you said like spring in Greece. So we're recording this in spring. That's going to be relevant next spring too. So it is still evergreen content because it's going to keep being relevant. And same thing with your products. By the way, I actually have a product I'm working on right now for social media, for Instagram and Facebook specifically. where you can actually do a year if you post for a year consistently, which I know easier said than done, but if you can do a year of consistent content, you can just repost things. Truly, if you have a Halloween product, the content is going to be the same next Halloween. The post is going to be the same next Halloween, as long as you don't put dates in there, right? Why not leverage Pinterest for that? And if you stay organized, I think that's one of the biggest things. And you have so many templates in your course, by the way. Oh my gosh, you are so organized. I was going through the Google Sheet keyword planner and I was like, wow. So she's got an area for content pillars, she's got an area for like competitors. It's so good. If you can stay organized and think what posts did well, same thing for emails too. I look at what performed best across every platform and think, okay, I'm just going to take that and tweak it for everything else. We should be doing that anyway. If you can do that, you don't have to keep creating new stuff all the time. And I think Pinterest is great for that. I also want to hit on something else you said earlier and just emphasize that you're talking about sales and you're talking about opt-ins. For those who are newer, we always have three goals, I would say, with marketing. You have sales, which heck yeah, right? If you can get sales right away, why not skip the other stuff, right? Sales, subscribers. So we want more people on our email list and we want more site traffic if we can, depending on what you're doing. Because if you have a website and you're monetizing that with ads too, great. If you sell on your site, because I know I have some people who have site, like they have their shops on their sites. Usually that's people who are a little more advanced, right? So if you can get the sale on your site and not give the commission to the marketplace, and yeah, why wouldn't you use Pinterest to drive traffic to that?
And you can share both of those links. That's always a question I'll get asked. I have Etsy, but I also have WooCommerce. Can I share both links? Heck yes, you can share both links. You're just immediately doubling the amount of links you can share on Pinterest by just having your third-party shop and your shop as well. Share all the links. Share them all.
I love that so much. The tip about the seasonal content was so good. Do you have any other best practices or maybe things that have changed in the last couple of years for someone who maybe they used to be on Pinterest and then they've stepped away? What are some other things that could help them?
The first thing I'm saying is, hey, if you used to use Pinterest, everything you hate is gone. If you hated having to keep up with group boards, if you hated having to pin a bazillion times a day, if repinning was exhausting, if you don't want to do Tailwind communities, formerly Tailwind tribes, if Facebook engagement threads sound exhausting, if you hate idea pins or story pins, guess what? All of that is done. You don't have to do any of that anymore. Pinterest has really changed, I would say like streamlined in the last year or so, where it's just all about knowing your keyword, designing the best pin for that keyword, posting it out there and being consistent. Like just shooting darts and not necessarily just trying to do all the things that could possibly lead to you getting more clicks, subscribers, and sales, but being very strategic about your keywords. And I 100% have seen that seasonal is the way to go. I did experiment with like focusing more on evergreen content for my own site. Didn't really work out. Seasonal is the way it's at. Pinterest is a very seasonal platform because we are seasonal humans, right? The things we do, the things we stress about, the things we focus on, it changes throughout the year. So it just makes you a better marketer if you can just be in tune with what's happening now. I would say another tip is to batch. If you are considering getting back into it, batch design your pins. You don't even need to schedule them all at once. Something I do for myself is I have my giant spreadsheet, a version of which you see inside of my course, Pin Popular. But literally in my spreadsheet, it's organized by the dates. January or like February was all like my relationship and Valentine's Day stuff. That's how I have things organized. And I will batch design pins for my links. And I'm not going to schedule them all this year because I know my content is going to be relevant next year and the year after that. So I batch design, I have them saved in my folders. So maybe this year I'll share this 3. I'm ahead of the game. I don't even have to go back into Canva. I've already saved them all to my desktop. So just batching and getting ahead is really going to save you when it comes to Pinterest. They firmly believe this is a strategy that once you optimize your profile, design your pin templates, know your keyword game, it is a sustainable strategy that will only demand a couple hours of your energy a month. And if you can do a larger batch, how I work is I work in 3-month chunks. Like I'm preparing a whole season and scheduling it and I'm good. I don't worry about Pinterest because like we said, they can just click on your pin and go right where you want. There's nothing else required, right? It's a beautiful thing. They can just click and Pinterest users know how to click. There's no explanation needed there. They know how to sign up for people's email lists. They know how to buy stuff. They say like about 50% of what people are using Pinterest for is to buy stuff, right? So they're already trained. No explanations needed. So what are you waiting for?
Love it. Yeah, I think what you mentioned earlier, I didn't get to that. I wrote down was search intent is so huge. Like you cannot underpin that because if I'm on Instagram, now I'm probably a special use case because I'm like a power user, but most people when they go on Instagram, they're not going on there to learn or to figure things out. They're like, I'm trying to turn my brain off. Yep,
Yep.
I'm just scrolling, I'm chilling, I'm not trying to think. You probably have the same kind of behavior. Same thing with TikTok. But with YouTube and certain platforms, YouTube, podcasting, they're learning, right? But then on Pinterest, they're shopping. They're shopping for ideas, they're shopping
Mm-hmm.
for products,
Inspiration.
inspiration, right? So the intent is really important.
This is also to me why Pinterest is different from other platforms is that it's a positive space. I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of social media. I'm tired of seeing people's negative comments. I'm tired of the rage bait. I'm tired of the political this, the political that. I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't even want to scroll anymore because I just feel like everything I see is trying to trigger me. That doesn't happen on Pinterest. Pinterest is a positive place. It is not the place for drama. The mindset of the person coming on Pinterest is not to turn their brain off, but maybe to spark something, to find something. And to me, that's the biggest difference. I love that they're a platform that has just put their foot down about that. Like, that does not belong here. We don't shame people, we don't body shame people. We don't put out anything that is negative or any of that, blah, blah, blah. It's like not the place for it. And I'm just grateful for that.
I'm sure so many people are going to relate to that. I've noticed that even my behavior has changed. Anyone who has an account knows people are commenting less, they're engaging less. And also, these platforms have been doing weird things. Like Instagram made it so everybody can see what you like. And it's like, I don't want everybody to see what I'm liking. I like, yeah, it's weird. When you go and scroll on certain posts, you'll see that like you can tell what your friends are liking. So,
Oh, like
I
the
don't know.
little face?
Yeah, the little face with the heart. Yeah, it's like it's kind of fun, but it's also kind of weird. Even just in Facebook groups. I know we've talked a little bit about this on my podcast lately, but I don't always want to comment either because people will just be jumping down your throat and it's like, oh my gosh, you asked for an opinion, I just gave it, you know? So I get it. Like if you don't want the drama, if you're like, I'm just here to make money, like I'm just here to make money. I'm not trying to make enemies here. I totally get
Mm-hmm.
it. That'd be perfect for someone who's over social media. Okay, so if someone's listening to this and they're like, all right, I'm in. I want to go back to Pinterest. I want to learn about Pinterest. What would be the best next step for me? Where do I start or restart? We actually have an event coming up in a couple of weeks. So I would love to hear a little bit about that. And then also, what could they do between now and then if they're really excited? What could they be learning or where could they start?
Okay, so number one, we are hosting a free Pinterest masterclass. It's all about how to easily get traffic and sales from Pinterest. So if you are like, okay, show me what to do, that's exactly what this class is going to do for you. I'm going to teach you all about finding keywords so you can get found in search, the top way, like top secret, easy way to design pins that will rank, and also a simple pinning strategy. There's a workbook. It's a fun time. So click that link that Brittany will have for you, and we hope to see you in class. And of course, if you want to get started sooner than that, I actually have a bunch of resources over on my website where I have a profile setup checklist that you can check out. Also, on my blog, I have a bunch of guides, whether you want to learn about Pinterest SEO or just getting started, or if you have questions like, is Pinterest really for me? That's the way to begin. But first, I would say, first off, you want to go create a Pinterest business account. If you're making that transition from being a Pinterest user to becoming a creator or a seller, you definitely need to convert your account or go create a new one. Oftentimes, the question is, do I convert or create? I would say it really depends. If you've been using your personal account as like a pseudo business account, it already has your username, maybe you've already shared some pins, you have a whole bunch of followers, just convert it. Okay. Just Google convert Pinterest business account. You'll be sent to the right page. Otherwise, go create a new one completely free. Doesn't cost anything. We want to just follow terms and conditions of Pinterest. If you're promoting anything for business, you need a Pinterest business account. Also, you need that account to get access to tools like Pinterest Analytics, where you can track your pins performance or Pinterest trends. which is Pinterest keyword tool, which shows you based on seasonality what people are searching for when. Your first steps would be to go get that Pinterest business account set up, and you're going to want to claim something. When we're talking about claiming, it can be your site. If you have, for example, a self-hosted WordPress site, a site that you own, it can't be on like a third party. So it can't be like a WordPress.com. You have to own the site. A shop, if you have a Shopify shop or WooCommerce shop, you can claim that. Or your Instagram account, you can claim that. So I would just claim something. That's where I would begin and start looking in the search results, right? Get an idea of where you would fit in. What are the keywords that your potential audience is looking for? You can go stalk some of your competitors to see what's happening there. And that's really and truly where I would begin between now and our class, of course, where we hope to see you there.
That was so great. It's so helpful. Thank you so much for being here, Natalie. I will put all the links to everything down in the video description if you're watching on YouTube, down in the episode description if you are listening on another platform. Definitely go search Natalie and everything she's doing online. It's so good. And we hope to see you at the free class. Like, everything that she has is just so valuable. I hope that you see that from the episode. She gave you so many action steps you can take right away. And is there any other platform where they can go and find you? Should they go to your website first, or Instagram? Or are you collecting people?
For me, it is the website. It's a pretty site. And it's funny because you mentioned earlier, like, you don't always need a website. I started this business in 2019, and it wasn't until last year that I finally built like a proper website.
My website, my social media manager stuff, I don't think it was really necessary. I mean, I've been a freelancer since 2021, and I've just barely set it up now, and I still have so much work to do. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thank you all for being here today and watching and listening.